Every powerful man fears the same downfall, not from his enemies, but from the woman who learns how to control him. Machiavelli once said, "The greatest trap for the ruler is in the heart of someone who claims to love him." In this video, we'll reveal a timeless trick. A way to test any woman before she strips you of your power, respect, or control. Power does not reveal itself in war or in politics alone. It reveals itself most intimately in how a man conducts himself with the people closest to him, especially with a woman who shares his life. A kingdom is often lost not because a man lacked strength, but because he did not understand the mirror standing beside him. That mirror, my friend, is a woman. She reflects not your beauty or charm, but your power. Every man desires affection, yet affection blinds faster than ambition. When a woman looks into your eyes, what she sees determines how she will act. If she sees a man of authority, she will respect his silence and his boundaries. If she sees a man desperate for love, she will sense the weakness that invites her to test the limits of your control. The woman becomes a map of your strengths and your hidden insecurities. You must learn to read that map before she learns to use it against you. A man who commands a room but loses command at home is no ruler at all. Machiavelli once said, "He who cannot govern himself will soon be governed by another." And this truth extends to the affairs of the heart. The woman you choose is not just a companion. She is a reflection of your inner order or your inner chaos. Look closely, and you will see that the way she treats your time, your words, and your silence is exactly how you treat your own power. The first mistake men make is believing that women fall for power. They do not. They fall for control. Control over yourself, over your emotions, over the world around you. When you lose that control, even for a moment, she senses it. She feels it the way a wolf smells fear. And once she feels it, she begins to test, not out of malice, but out of nature. For in every woman lies the instinct to see whether the man she follows is truly a leader or merely playing the part. So, how does she test? Watch closely. It begins with small gestures. A delayed reply, a moment of coldness, a question designed not for curiosity but for reaction. She is not seeking answers. She is measuring your discipline. The man who rushes to defend himself, to explain, to please, fails the test before it begins. For he has revealed that his emotions rule him, not his reason. And in that moment, she understands that she holds power, not him. The wise man, the Machiavellian man, observes these moments with calm amusement. He understands that love, like politics, is a game of balance. When she withdraws her warmth, he does not chase it. When she questions his silence, he does not break it. He lets her reflection show itself fully, for every reaction she provokes reveals the kind of man he is, or the kind of man he pretends to be. A woman drawn to true power is not seduced by wealth or charm. She is drawn by mystery, by a man who seems unshaken by affection or loss. This does not mean he is cold. It means he is sovereign. He belongs to himself before he belongs to anyone else. When she sees that she cannot control his emotions, she begins to trust his leadership. But when she discovers that he is easily swayed by her attention, she begins to lead him, even if she does not realize it. And when that happens, his throne begins to crumble from within. This is why Machiavelli warned rulers never to be careless with affection. The same principles that protect a state protect the heart. A ruler must know his advisors. A man must know his woman. The ruler watches for betrayal. The man must watch for manipulation disguised as love. And while both forms of deception wear different faces, their goal is always the same: to influence the one who holds power. If you wish to understand who you are, do not look in the mirror of glass. Look in the mirror of the woman beside you. Observe her reactions when you deny her attention, when you disagree with her opinion, when you remain silent in the face of her emotion. If she becomes calm and steady, you have found balance. If she grows restless or tries to provoke you, she has sensed a weakness. And weakness, once detected, is never forgotten. A woman of true loyalty does not desire to rule you. She admires that she cannot, but the woman who seeks dominance will disguise her hunger behind affection, behind sweet words of care. She will say she wants your time, but in truth, she wants your mind. She will say she loves your power, but in truth, she wants to shape it. And the moment you allow her, even in small ways, she will begin to rearrange your kingdom. Machiavelli understood that power is not taken in one grand rebellion. It is surrendered gradually, through trust misplaced and emotions misread. The man who cannot see this pattern is doomed to repeat it. He will blame her for his fall, never realizing that she only revealed what was already weak within him. A woman merely exposes what power hides. So remember, every interaction, every glance, every silence between you and her is a reflection of who commands the dynamic. She is your mirror, and through her behavior, you will learn whether you are a ruler of yourself or a servant of your desires. Power does not always need to announce itself. Often, it is most visible in its absence. The most revealing trick Machiavelli teaches is not in confrontation, but in silence. Withdrawal, the quiet removal of energy and presence. The true test of any woman, any companion, begins not when you give her more, but when you suddenly give her less. You see, a woman's loyalty is never proven by words of love, but by how she behaves when your attention fades, when the gifts stop, when the conversations grow shorter, when your presence becomes unpredictable. Most men believe they can secure devotion by giving more. More time, more affection, more attention. But Machiavelli knew better. He knew that giving too much creates dependency, not respect. It creates attachment, not understanding. The true test, he said, is to retreat, to watch what happens when the music stops. In every relationship, there comes a moment when a man must step back and observe. Not with cruelty, not with punishment, but with intent. To withdraw is not to disappear. It is to create a vacuum, a silence where truth speaks. And in that silence, you will see her true nature. A woman who is with you for your power will feel unease in your absence. She will seek to reclaim control through guilt, questions, or manipulation. She will try to remind you of her value, not out of affection, but out of fear that her access to influence is slipping away. But a woman who values you for your essence will respond differently. She will not panic, she will not chase, she will remain steady. Her calm will tell you that she is with you, not for what you give, but for who you are. The Machiavellian mind understands this distinction. When you withdraw, the reaction you provoke reveals whether you were ever truly seen. Men of weak resolve fail this test. The moment they sense distance, they rush back, desperate to explain or reassure. They confuse comfort with loyalty. Yet comfort is a fragile illusion. It vanishes the moment pressure enters the room. Machiavelli would remind such men that to rule any domain, whether a nation or a relationship, you must master the art of observation through absence. Presence shows what she says. Absence shows who she truly is. Imagine you are a ruler who leaves a city for a season. If in your absence, the people grow restless and conspire, they were never loyal to you but to your presence. But if the city remains in order, if your word continues to guide even when you are gone, then your rule is true. The same principle applies to a woman's loyalty. Her calm in your absence is a sign of genuine respect. Her chaos in your silence is a warning that her devotion was only conditional. The silent withdrawal test is subtle, and that is what makes it powerful. You do not announce it. You do not warn her. You simply step back. Slowly, deliberately, you speak less, reveal less, and engage less. You let her imagination fill the space where your energy once existed. And then you watch. This is the moment where power shifts. For the first time, she must act without your influence guiding her. If she truly respects your presence, she will honor your distance. She will not seek to control the silence, but if she has grown addicted to your attention, she will begin to unravel. She might accuse you of neglect. She might test your patience with drama, conflict, or guilt. She will attempt to draw you back not through love but through chaos. And the moment you return too quickly, she learns that she can summon you whenever she pleases. From that point on, your authority is no longer yours. It belongs to her. Machiavelli warned that rulers must never be predictable, for predictability makes power easy to manipulate. The same truth applies here. A woman must never be certain of your reaction. The mystery of when you will appear or disappear keeps her anchored in respect. Not fear, not uncertainty, but awareness. She must feel that you belong to a higher purpose than her emotions. This realization separates a man of value from a man of need. The silent withdrawal test also exposes what kind of energy you have created around her. If your relationship was built on constant validation, she will crumble when that validation ends. But if it was built on respect, she will stand firm. When your silence enters the room, the truth begins to echo. In those moments, she will show whether she admired your strength or simply relied on your presence. Many men are afraid of withdrawal because they mistake it for rejection. But it is not rejection, it is reflection. It is the mirror through which loyalty, desire, and manipulation reveal themselves. When you withdraw, you are not being cruel, you are being wise. You are creating a distance where masks fall away. A woman who loves your mind will not fear your silence. She will understand it. She will not interpret your calm as disinterest, but as discipline. She knows that a man who does not chase after every emotion is a man who cannot be controlled. And that kind of man, my friend, is rare and deeply respected. Machiavelli's wisdom teaches us that love, like politics, demands tests of loyalty. You cannot discover truth through indulgence. You must create conditions where truth exposes itself, and nothing exposes truth faster than silence. For in silence, the heart either reaches closer or turns away, And in that movement, the ruler learns who stands beside him for devotion and who lingers for power. Power, my friend, is not destroyed by open rebellion. It crumbles in whispers. It is not the sword that ends a ruler. It is the tongue that betrays him. And in the private chambers of love, betrayal does not always come from hatred. It often comes from curiosity. The woman who cannot bear silence is the one who hungers to know what you are not ready to reveal. This is why Machiavelli said that a prince must learn to guard his words, for the most dangerous secrets are not those spoken in courts, but those spoken in bed. A man who desires power must understand this law of silence is a shield. Words are weapons that cut both ways. Every powerful man faces the same trap. A woman's need to understand him completely. She will ask, she will study, she will listen, not merely to know you, but to own your inner world. She seeks to measure what makes you strong, where your fears lie, and what truths you guard. If she can read you entirely, she can eventually control you, for no one can manipulate what remains unknown. So Machiavelli's true test was never about charm, gifts, or affection. It was about silence. He would say, tell her nothing and see how she reacts. If she grows uneasy, if she begins to probe, if she becomes restless in your quiet, she does not respect your power. She wishes to possess it. For a woman who desires to rule over you cannot endure mystery. Your silence becomes a threat because it denies her access. She cannot command what she cannot predict. But the woman who truly values you will never demand the keys to your mind. She understands that silence is not distance. It is discipline. She knows that the man who speaks less reveals strength, not neglect. When you share nothing, she trusts that you are protecting something greater. Her respect grows because she senses that you belong to a higher purpose, not to the endless hunger of attention. Every ruler must learn this. The greatest loyalty is proven in silence. When you do not reveal your plans, when you do not explain your motives, when you do not justify your actions, watch how she reacts. Does she turn bitter? Does she accuse you of hiding? Or does she remain calm, knowing that trust does not require explanation? Her reaction in your silence will tell you if she is loyal to you or merely addicted to the feeling of control. The loyalty of silence is not a game. It is an examination of spirit. When you speak less, the woman beside you begins to show her nature. Some women will fill the silence with noise, accusations, manipulation, or gossip. Others will fill it with patience. She who remains steady in your quiet reveals emotional power equal to yours. She understands that power requires stillness. And in that stillness, a true bond can exist. A man who explains everything is not powerful. He is predictable. He gives away his strategy with every confession. Machiavelli would have warned, never let your heart speak louder than your reason. When you reveal your fears, your desires, your insecurities too soon, you give away the map to your own downfall. The clever woman, whether consciously or not, will use this knowledge to shape your actions, not through force, but through influence. Gentle word, guilt, calculated silence of her own. Before you realize it, your decisions no longer belong to you. They are hers. In politics, this is how rulers are overthrown. In love, this is how men are conquered. The loyal woman is not the one who demands your truth. She is the one who guards it even when you give her none. She does not need to know your every thought to believe in your strength. She simply trusts your nature. Such a woman is rare. You will know her because your silence does not frighten her. It fascinates her. The weak man confuses silence with distance and rushes to fill it with noise. The wise man, the Machiavellian man, uses silence as a test. He withholds affection, words, and explanations, not to punish but to reveal. If she grows distant the moment you stop feeding her curiosity, she never loved you. She loved access to your mind. But if she remains graceful in uncertainty, she values your authority. There is an old Florentine saying, a man's secrets are the true measure of his strength. To share them is to divide that strength, to guard them is to multiply it. The same applies to the woman in your life. If she can live in your silence without resentment, she will stand with you when the world turns against you. But if she cannot handle what she does not know, she will one day use what she does know to destroy you. When you practice the loyalty of silence, you invite truth. The kind of truth that only discomfort reveals. The woman who grows frustrated with your restraint shows her hunger for dominance. The woman who remains composed shows her understanding of balance. And in this test, Machiavelli found one of the greatest measures of loyalty. Not through passion, not through devotion, but through patience in the unknown. A man who guards his words rules his world. The silence you keep around your ambitions, your fears, and your inner life is not emptiness, is armor. In that armor, you see who truly stands beside you and who merely follows the sound of your voice. Every man believes loyalty is tested through hardship, But Machiavelli knew better. He understood that loyalty is not tested when life is cold and empty. It is tested when the gates of privilege are opened. Anyone can appear faithful when there is nothing to gain. The true measure of a woman's nature appears the moment she senses advantage. That is the essence of the final judgment. Tempt her with opportunity. The art of testing character lies not in punishment, but in temptation. It is easy for a woman to say she is loyal when she depends on your strength, your guidance, your power. But what happens when you give her a small piece of that power? What happens when you hand her the key? Not to the entire kingdom, but to one chamber of it, and watch what she does when no one is looking. That is where truth lies. Machiavelli would often say that men reveal their true selves when they believe they will not be judged. The same applies to a woman who walks beside a man of power. She will not show her real face when she fears loss. She will show it when she smells gain. The moment you grant her a taste of access, an inch of influence, a sliver of control, you must step back and watch. How she handles it determines whether she seeks harmony or dominion. The wise man, the ruler of himself, knows how to construct this test. He gives her freedom not as a gift, but as an observation. He opens the door to opportunity, perhaps a decision, a responsibility, a connection, something that grants her symbolic access to his influence. And then he waits. He does not guide her. He does not explain. He allows her actions to speak. For in freedom, all masks fall. If her first instinct is to expand her reach, to make decisions that serve her comfort rather than your shared purpose, then you have found ambition dressed in affection. She does not seek to walk beside you. She seeks to walk above you. Her loyalty was never to you, but to what you represent. She wanted the feeling of power, not the man who holds it. Machiavelli warned of such women. In the same breath he warned of courtiers and advisors who pretended to serve the prince, while quietly building their own thrones. But if she uses opportunity with restraint, if she handles the privilege with grace, if she shows patience when she could have claimed more, then you have found something rare, for restraint is the highest proof of loyalty. Anyone can resist when they are powerless, but only the truly disciplined resist when they hold the means to conquer. A woman who remains composed when she could take control proves that her heart is loyal to your purpose, not hungry for your throne. Every powerful man must learn this truth. Temptation reveals character more clearly than struggle. In struggle, people cling to survival. In temptation, they reveal intention. So when you create opportunity, you are not testing her affection, you are testing her alignment with your vision. Will she protect your authority, or use her new position to challenge it? Will she act with discretion, or parade her access for attention? Every small reaction is a window into the empire of her soul. Many men mistake generosity for wisdom. They believe that giving their woman more will prove their love. But generosity without observation is blindness. A ruler who gives too much, too soon is others to take, not to respect. The same happens in love. The moment you give full access to a woman who has not proven her restraint, you surrender not only power but mystery. And once mystery dies, respect follows. Machiavelli's genius was in his understanding of human nature. He knew that opportunity transforms people. It awakens greed in the heart of the unworthy and discipline in the heart of the wise. So, when you give her something small, something symbolic, watch her reaction. If she uses it to elevate both of you, her loyalty is genuine. But if she begins to act as though she no longer needs your guidance, you have revealed her true intent without ever speaking a word. The final judgment does not require confrontation. It requires patience. You must become the quiet observer, the prince who smiles while watching his court unfold. Let her think she is free to move as she pleases. Power, when observed from a distance, shows its true nature. A woman driven by respect will grow softer, more graceful in her freedom. A woman driven by power will grow restless, demanding and entitled. One nurtures your rule, the other seeks to replace it. This test, subtle yet devastatingly effective, is one few men have the courage to use. Most fear what they will discover. They would rather live with illusion than truth. But Machiavelli never feared truth. He understood that illusion is what kills men in love and politics alike. When you see her reaction to opportunity, you will understand what your relationship truly stands on. Is it built on respect for your authority, or on the hunger to share it? A wise man gives little, observes much, and decides slowly. He does not test her through promises of affection, but through the offering of choice. The moment you give her the power to act without consequence, you will see her essence. Some will protect what you've built, others will begin to build for themselves. The difference lies not in her words, but in her silence after temptation. For the ones who seek power will always talk, while the ones who respect it will act with quiet loyalty. Machiavelli taught that a ruler must learn to test devotion not through pain, but through privilege. The same rule governs the art of love. When you tempt her with opportunity, you hold a mirror to her nature. What you see there will determine whether she is your ally in empire, or your undoing in disguise in the grand theater of power. It is never the enemy outside the walls that brings ruin. It is the weakness allowed within. A man may conquer nations, outthink rivals, and command empires, yet lose everything to a single misjudged affection. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. The heart, left unguarded, is the most dangerous battlefield of all. You must learn to observe as a ruler does, to see not only with the eyes of desire, but with the eyes of discipline. The woman beside you is not only your companion. She is your reflection, your test, and sometimes your downfall. Through her, you will discover whether you are master of yourself or a slave to your emotions. When you look at her, remember the lessons of the 4 trials. She mirrors your strength. Study that reflection. She reveals her truth in your absence. Test her with silence. She proves her loyalty when you guard your words. Measure her patience. And finally, she exposes her nature when tempteth opportunity. Observe her restraint. These are not tests of love, but of alignment. For love, when ungoverned by wisdom, becomes the sharpest weapon against the one who wields it carelessly. Machiavelli would remind you that the goal is not to distrust women, but to understand people. Power attracts both devotion and ambition. Affection draws both loyalty and deceit. The wise man does not fear these truths. He uses them. He does not harden his heart, but strengthens it with reason. He does not isolate himself from connection. He simply refuses to be blinded by it. And so, before you offer your crown, your secrets, or your soul, learn to test, not with cruelty, but with intelligence. For the one who can stand through your silence, your absence, and your discipline is not a threat to your power. She is its protector. But the one who grows restless, demanding, or bold in the face of restraint has already begun to strip your throne in silence. In the end, remember, power is not about control over others. It is mastery over yourself. The man who can govern his heart, his words, and his emotions will never be ruled by another. As Machiavelli might whisper through the centuries, do not fear the woman who tempts you. Fear the man within you who yields too easily.